Well, well, well. We're starting this episode with one less life. I can't believe I died. I was silly. I didn't block. What an idiot. Anyway, I'm starting it here because there is a bunch of leftover farms from where we first started. These were all temporary. And while I don't necessarily have all of these automated or have ideas to make them automated just yet, and that will probably happen at some point in the future, I do want to get rid of them here. Same with the composter and furnace over there and the cacao beans. Yeah, I just want to make this area look pretty, and where I'm standing right now, I want to build a big tree. And I want to also build some more big trees around the area, probably one over there on the hill, and maybe one in the distance, and some more extra small foliage all around, like some small trees and stuff. And I want to connect this area a little bit further and make this area a nice, connect the mountain like I did with the andesite. Eventually we'll get to where we can wrap this up and go to the next style. I am planning to also make a mangrove farm, an automated one, so I don't have to keep chopping down these trees. They are horrible to do, and I'm gonna need so much more mangrove wood. It's time we automate that. We're gonna be placing this sugarcane farm. I think I want to place it next to the river. Make like a sugarcane section next to the river. Make it a little bit more sense. Finally cover this up. Get rid of the cocoa beans. I might make some temporary house somewhere or a temporary place for them. Not yet though, I'm just gonna move them somewhere else. The bamboo, not sure about that either, but I'm just gonna move all of this stuff away. Let's start by chopping all of this sugarcane away from here. Alright, there's that. Let's throw this in the composter as well and make some bone meal. And let's clear out these water gaps and fill them back up with temporary netherrack. Now, this guy, he still doesn't have a name. I haven't really thought of one yet, but he should not be sitting outside anymore. I think it's time we put him inside the house. That's a perfect spot. There you go. Beautiful. Now you're in the house with me. And let's not forget about the netherrack. Alright, so now let's chop down all of the mangrove trees that we currently still have. Luckily for you, you won't have to sit and wait until I've cut them all down. We can just cut straight to the end. All of the mangrove trees are gone. Isn't that amazing? They are so big. It opens up a whole area here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put a big tree right here. And first, I didn't really realize how open it was until now the mangrove trees are all gone, so this is gonna fit beautifully, and I can't wait to build it. Next up, we have some more trees to deal with. I had an idea. I'm gonna put the composter down in the silo at the bottom. And maybe I could pair it up with like some chest up here eventually and just have some of the compost, aka the bone meal, end up in this chest here. But for now, I think we should go ahead and go down here a little bit. I think there's room down here, right? Sure, yeah. Let's build it down here. Let's remove the old setup. And let's build a small area underneath the silo for the composter to go in. I'll add this ladder as a way down. And then I'll clear out a small area. Do it like this. We put the composter over there. And then we put... I mean, we could put the chest down here for now. There we go. Got our composter. We could even do another one, but this is perfect. Oh, I can even hide the composter like that. That's fun. And of course, add some shroom lights. Oh, not there. And then of course, we add this on the side. And then it's time to make them invisible. There we go. This one as well, and there we go. Beautiful. Now let's move the furnace setup. just broke the furnaces that have been set here from the day that I started this world, and they gave me from 9 levels to 37 levels. That is pretty good. I don't know what to do with those levels at the moment because I already enchanted basically everything. So I'm not sure. Maybe I can enchant some more shears to put in the sheep pen or something. I'm not sure. We'll find a way, maybe. As long as I don't die, I can keep them, so. I think I'm just gonna add a small cellar down here. There we go. Now we have a little cellar down here for our smelting. It's a very, very small cellar, and it's only for, I don't know, maybe a little bit more smelting. Because I do want to build a nice smeltery down in the mines pretty soon, actually. Earlier, I mentioned how I wanted to automate the mangrove farms going forward, and this is, I think, the perfect spot to build the automated farm, because right above us is another really big cave, and I think that should be enough to automate the whole thing. So let's dig it out real quick. There we go. I have finished digging out this gigantic hole, and this is exactly where I'll be placing the mangrove farm. And yeah, so it's also connected to the cave where we have the iron farm and the geode. And this cave is very, very large. It connects to a bunch of really big caves, and this is kind of where I'm intending to continue building a little bit because I really like how this looks. And I think I'll be transforming this entire section. Maybe I'll put some houses here and make this where the new style starts. I'm not entirely sure just yet. I do quite like the idea of having buildings around here. So yeah, this is at least where I'm going to be starting the mangrove farm. And I think that's going to be the first thing we're going to do. Alright, that's the first section completed, and as you can see, this is where we're going to catch everything that falls. So the idea is that we're going to blow up the trees, and then stuff will fall down here, and we have like a little gap in the middle, and then we have this little chute that will transport all of the items up here, and will be in the chest. Now eventually I can make like a nice storage down here with these chests, so there is a little bit of room above here. I also forgot to mention, I'm following a tutorial by FrunoCraft for this farm. Links in the description. Now next up, I think I want to work on the section that's going to go over here, and that will be where we're going to stand and plant the propagules and make them grow, and that will work up all the way. I've added a few more things. This, for example, is a big line of pistons, and what happens is whenever a block appears over here, it gets pushed out. And this is exactly where the tree will grow, up here. And down there, where I was earlier, is where we'll stand with the propagules. We'll stand over there, the propagules will get resupplied from that chest over there. And then, let me just jump down. We'll be over here. And this is where I plant the propagule, and this will be some dispensers with a bunch of bone meal. And then over here, with the slime blocks, we have an on-off switch over here. If we do this, you can see that over there the observer gets powered, or well, gets connected, and down here this gets connected to the observer clock. But we're going to turn that off for now. But will also get powered, as you can see, is the trapdoor over there. And that trapdoor will be connected all the way to the TNT duplicator that we're going to be building now. TNT duper in place. So now whenever I would trigger this thing, let's see, I think it's this one. Oh, actually, this one right here. Whenever I would do this, it's gonna push the TNT over there. It's supposed to push it back and duplicate it. I must have missed something. Attempt number 2. I made a little mistake of forgetting the red dust up there, but here we go. So if I trigger this observer, the TNT gets put in the water, where it doesn't do anything. The next time it activates, it gets pushed back, and then the active TNT will drop down here, and will explode on top of the trees and destroy the leaves and stuff. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down here. I'm going to disable this, which will enable the TNT. There you go. So now it's on. Now it's actively working, which is fantastic. So now I can go down here a little bit. I can turn off the alarm. I think I do have it inverted right now, so I might have to click it twice just to get it to be not inverted. Let's go down here. I don't need this one. Okay, so now I do this. Now it's on, but this thing is off, right? Oh, it's still going. Okay. So now it would be on. Now we activate this. Doesn't actually do anything there, does it? Why is it not disabling that? Well, I figured it out. This thing is flipping the wrong way. It needs to be like that. Now it should trigger. Yep, there you go. So now it turns it off. There we go. Now it has stopped the TNT duper. So now the entire thing is off. I think, right? Yeah, the entire thing is off. And now, flip, that changes the state. And there we go, it's on. And now we flip it back, that flips up. And it's off. Alright, so now I just need to grab a few propagules, which I have down here as well. I'm going to remove this temporary thing, because I didn't need that. Oh yeah, I have my stack up here. To get enough propagules from this farm, though, I will need to build a small propagule farm next to it. Well, I went mining for a little bit, and look what I found. That is an end city. Now, I am really not in the mood for raiding any end city. I don't even have netherrack gear yet, but wow. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and back away. I grabbed myself a sensor from one of the nearby skulk areas, so that I can use it in a very simple propagule farm. I was, of course, extremely brave and not scared. Alright, I'm going to be building a very quick and easy mangrove propagule farm. And that should supply us with more than enough propagules, as long as we have another set of bonemeal, of course. So I might have to extend the bonemeal farm at some point, or make another one, because this is not providing a whole lot of bonemeal, so I'm going to have to do a lot of waiting. It will, of course, provide me with a lot of passive bone meal, but, you know, it's not going to be enough. We start the farm off by placing 2 dispensers. I didn't grab the mangrove leaf. Well, that shouldn't be too big of a deal, should it? There we go. Fixed it. There we go, we got ourselves an observer clock. Put some redstone on top. So it's one of those down, one of these. And then we finish it off with an observer. Now this is gonna trigger the piston. Let's give ourselves a little bit of space to walk around. There we go. So we turn it off like there. And the way this works is that apparently those scope sets have a cooldown on when to trigger. So the piston will trigger it, and then it will have enough time in between where the bone meal can grow the propagules. If I just go ahead and grab some bone meal, I should be able to go ahead and try it out. Then we can see how it works. You put bone meal in both dispensers. Alright, so now I think it should work, so let's go ahead and try it. So as you can see, it gets bone mealed, and then it gets chopped. Then it gets bone mealed, and then it gets chopped. So I looked at this problem that I was having with it not being on or off correctly. Now, I had both of these observers connected at the same time, which is not correct, because this one is supposed to connect when it's off, and this one is supposed to connect when it's on, which I had mistaken in the first try. So it wasn't actually dropping mangrove saplings, the propagules, but now it is, so that's fixed. And of course the TNT should be dropping at the same time, and that should all be working now. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna run this one a little longer and see how much logs we get. So yeah, there we go. It is working as intended. And I just did a little test with the bone meal that we had. I think I wasted a bunch of it. But with the 3 stacks of bones, or 4 stacks of bones, we got ourselves a stack of mangrove logs. So we're going to need a lot of bone meal. So maybe I should actually build myself a bone meal machine as well or something. Because this is going to require a lot of bone meal. Alright, there we go. I just really quickly built a very simple and I think a pretty slow bone meal farm, but this should be enough to get me started. And let's go ahead and turn it on. So we've got a little timer here that, of course, a stone generator. It's gonna push over the... Oh, I didn't put any bone meal in, that's why it didn't work. I mean, I need some bone meal to get started, right? I did bring some bone meal, so let's go ahead and put some of the bone meal in. So we go ahead and put the bone meal in this one over here. This is gonna push it upwards as long as it's got some in there. And there we go. It's just gonna generate some bone meal. And then when we push stone over here, I think this block, oh, this one, there we go. It opens. It should open all of them. There we go. Now it should work properly. Now I forgot some redstone on top of here. Let's watch until it gets pushed over here. There we go. There, all of the trapdoors open now. Now it's working properly. And then over at this end, it gets dropped into these hoppers, and then it gets converted over here using these. And then it goes into the hoppers. The hoppers are connected to this dropper, and it gets pushed back into the system. And any that don't get pushed up will slowly go down here and get dropped in this chest. So currently I already had, of course, a few stacks in there, so this is not produced by the farm just yet, but let's go ahead and take all of that out, and then we'll see how much it produces as it's going to be on for a little bit. Now that all the redstone is done, we let the bone meal generate while we gather some materials. Every episode I want to make an addition to the mineshaft, and I could use some more spruce for that. Just gonna wait until it falls. I still need another one though to make another full tree. Which block is gonna break first? This one? Or this one? Or perhaps the spruce sapling will despawn right before our eyes. Oh, there we go. Well, after all that excitement, let's build that extension to the mine, shall we? And while I show you a time-lapse of me building this, I would like to thank you for your support. If you liked the video, please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because it helps the algorithm. And as a finishing touch, let's put the rails in. Let's also remove these torches. There we go, all done. This expansion has actually added quite a bit, I think. Now we can continue gathering resources for the main build of this episode, which is going to be a few trees. Alright, so for the trees, I will be needing some resources, and we're gonna go ahead and gather those. So we're gonna need some gravel, some sand to make some concrete, and of course turn the concrete into normal concrete, not the concrete powder. I'll be smelting some glass and some terracotta, because I'm gonna be using some glazed terracotta as well as the regular terracotta. And then we're gonna hop over to the nether. I see you standing there. I am not going to punch you. Oh, he just went to the overworld. I might actually punch him. But yeah, the reason I'm back in the nether is because I need a lot of resources, and mostly a bunch of netherrack for the surface, And I need a bunch of netherite blocks. Alright, now I think I have most of the materials gathered. I have red stained glass pane, red concrete, red glazed terracotta, some netherite blocks, some amethyst as well. We've got mangrove wood and some spruce components, some carpets for the surrounding area, some fungi, and weeping vines for in the tree as well. So this is mostly going to be the tree trunks and the branches and stuff, and then for the leaves, it's mostly going to be a combination of these plus the nether warts. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and build it over here. So let's go ahead and go into a time lapse. There we go. That is pretty much the skeleton of the tree done. And look at that. I am very much enjoying the scale of the tree here. And I'm just gonna zoom out a little bit in free cam and see how it looks. It's obviously still going to need a lot of leaves around it, which will help a lot. Now let's continue the time lapse and finish with the leaves. Here it is. The tree is completed and it fits very nicely here. I do want to have a little bit more foliage, like some smaller trees around, and it's gonna be super nice whenever this area is fully transformed, which I will be doing next. And even better when I have another big tree over there, because then it's framed so much better that way, right? And later down the line, I would love to add some more spruce trees that are sticking out as well, some custom ones, because I think this mountain could very much do with a little bit more height. And then of course the third tree that I'm planning to do is over here in this corner. And that's just about it for this area, I think. And a lot of small foliage around the area, and yeah, that's mostly what I'm going to be focusing on this episode. So transforming this area, some small foliage, and 2 more trees. That is a beautiful transformation of the grassy area into a netherrack. Now, of course, eventually I will need to bone meal this as well, and make it the beautiful nylium. And now we have to transform this area into a snowy, rocky area, like here. So I'm gonna need some deep slate and andesite and tuff and some snow blocks to turn this area around, because here we have a whole bunch of stuff that I want to turn, because this cannot stand. Like we like the transition here into the beautiful snow, and I don't want to see dirt in between the snow. That just looks horrible. I don't mind the ice on top, that looks nice, but I don't like all the snow in there. So I do want to fix this big portion of snowy stuff, and then eventually we'll have to fix this as well, but we're not going to touch that at all today. I do want to change this today. So that means I'm going to have to collect a lot of snow blocks and fix this top layer. That is a bunch of snow blocks and a few snow layers. This should be plenty to get that decorated. I'm going to go ahead and replace all of those snow blocks, or I mean all of the dirt blocks in the snow. And I also have some leather boots, so I'm not going to fall through the powdered snow. It is one of the more satisfying things to do from this terraforming project so far. Right, this is powdered snow, so let's go. Oh, there we go, light as a rabbit. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and change over to timeless mode so you can see from afar what it looks like. So enjoy. Look at that. It is so much better to not have that dirt, and I can't wait to have this area finished as well and to have pretty much the entire mountain done. The whole look from behind, or from far away, I mean, is going to be so much better. I can't wait to have it all finished. As with regards to this area, I am thinking of terraforming in the future, at least a little bit more. The whole river is of course going to continue flowing down here and eventually meeting up with the water here. However, for the red terraforming, I don't think I will be doing the entire area. I think I will stop before we get to this mine, and I do want to think of some kind of a transition area somewhere around here. It is probably going to involve some rocks, and I'm not entirely sure what it's going to look like, but I think it's going to go up to here, maybe up until this point, and up until this point. So there will be just a little bit more terraforming around the area, but today we're gonna focus on this little piece. And yeah, this is most of the stuff that we will have for this style, and I think it will be something that I want to finish up just here and there. Maybe I'll just do it mostly on streams or something, maybe just not in a video like this one where I'm actually going to add a bunch of foliage to the area, which I think is a pretty big change, and I think we should sleep. Now that we've done the terraforming and the snowy terraforming, these have actually grown a little bit, and as I don't want these to grow all the way down for all of them, because that will look pretty ugly, I want to go ahead and shear most of them down and lock them in place. So that's something I want to do really quickly. Let's go ahead and just go ahead and do that. Now that the tree is finished, I think we should continue terraforming. Before I bone meal the entire area here, I'm also going to be adding a few cobbled blocks and bricks and stuff like that. Because I want some of these to be scattered around this hill. Because as we look over here, I have mostly rocks around the edges here, and I do want a couple along this ridge as well to give a little bit more detail. So yeah, let's go ahead and add a rock right about here, I think. Of course, we do need some dripstone, but we can grab that later. We'll do that afterwards. So first, let's add a few rocks. I'll add another one here, I think. think that's nice. I like that. Now I just need to get more bone meal for the rest. And then, of course, we're going to add some rocks around this and turn this into andesite. And then we have the full transition complete. And then, of course, some more foliage around here. Some small trees, mostly. It's going to be a lot of small trees. Here we go. It's time to tackle this a little bit. And I'm going to use some of this cobbled deep slate once again in combination with the basalt to make some rocks and then have it transition to the snow using the tuff and the andesite again. And then afterwards I will decorate it with dripstone and some amethyst, and of course put the layers of snow on top. So instead of doing a little time lapse, I'm going to just quickly show you a few little bits and bobs of what I'm doing here. Alright, so here I will transition into andesite and or tuff, one of the two. And then over here we'll transition into snow, put this snow layer all on top. Then I'll have a path somewhere over here. And I'll probably pull this out a little bit further so it's not as slopey. Because I want to have the path obviously somewhere over there. So I'll make this less slopey. So let's go ahead and put some andesite and tuff here. I am very happy with that slope. That looks very nice. And especially with the transitions from the terrain. I think it just makes it look so much more natural. Not having the grass here. This whole area is definitely coming together very nicely. And yeah, now we've done this half. And I'm definitely going to have to do this side as well. And it took a lot more snow blocks than I needed. Than I thought. We just got all of this done. But now I'm out of snow blocks, so I'm going to need to gather even more to finish the other side. Alright, so the only thing that I will still change eventually when I put in the path is that this part of the mountain will be cut out a little bit, so we have a bit more of a flat passage. And I'm going to leave this for now. I am super happy with how this turned out. And I can't wait to put some more foliage in here. Just look at this. It's looking a lot better. And I definitely want to get that path in, but that's going to be next episode. Alright, so now that we have finished the mountain transition and the terraforming, I have only but one thing, well, two things left. Two of them are trees, and then we finish it up with some smaller trees. The first of the two trees is going to go right here. And I'm not going to go ahead and show another time lapse and all that. I'll just show you a few small cuts of the progress and the final result. There we go. I just installed a resource pack for minimalistic rain because I was getting really annoyed with the amount of rain that was on the screen the whole time, but this is actually really, really good. Look at this. You can still see that it rains. It's still pretty atmospheric, but it's not as blinding as the rain usually is in Minecraft. I actually like the rain now. It's not, you know, disturbing and annoying. So there we go. Now we can actually see what we're doing. So much better. So yeah, I was going ahead and playing around with these roots a little bit, and I think I'm pretty happy with the shape. I do have to remove one block over there, but this is roughly the shape that I think I'll be going for. And then I would like this tree to, I think, grow a little bit in this direction. Right, look at that. There is the general shape for the tree completed, and I'm actually quite happy with it. As you can see, there is quite a few branches at the top. So it fans out as you would with the tree. And now these two are like the main branches. So we have one pretty low to the floor that is fanning out here at the point where it's the strongest. And I think it's the biggest branch with a few small side branches. And then this one here has a few small side branches as well, which is probably another pretty big one. And then over here we have a decent bunch of small branches, but the majority is hanging on this side. So it's leaning a little bit away from the mountain, which I think is what makes the most sense. And there you go. There is the full tree. I am really happy with the location and how it curves and sort of leans away from the hill. All right, now that we have the second tree in, I think it's time for the third one. And this is the spot where I want it. Now, this is a nice flat area, and I might even give a little bit more detail to the area afterwards, but I think we'll start with the tree and go from there. I'm not entirely sure what shape the tree is going to get. I'm just gonna wing it. There we go. This one is a little bit smaller than the other trees, but I'm actually quite liking this size of over here because it doesn't really overwhelm. I feel like every tree that I've built after the first one became smaller and smaller. I do think this one is a little bit too tall, but it does work over there. So maybe once I add in the really small trees that are more like plants, then maybe this will work a little bit better. But I really like this one. They're almost like mushrooms in a way. And now we can go ahead and move straight on to these smaller trees. All right, that is it for this episode. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one.